Well, good morning, guys. Can you guys hear me? Good. We'll deal with Joe, we never had you do a prayer before. Why don't we have you do one? Joe, you can't even. Joe, I want you to get passionate about this. I want you to do a prayer for us. Come on, man.
You don't want me to do that.
Yes, you can. I think you can do it.
That ain't my gig, man.
What about Sam? At least we got Sam's video on. Sam, come on, man. Can't you give the man a help here?
Hey, I'm someone who bows their head and says amen.
Okay. No, we'll let Anthony do it then.
That works.
You guys ready to get started? You guys ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay. Let us bow our heads. Father God, we thank you for today. We thank you for the men and women of integrity, God. We ask that you continue to bless Century 21 Premier. God, we ask that you just give our speaker today all the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to cascade his message across, allow it to be clear in an understanding way to our agents. These are the things that we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen. Good. All right, guys, let's get excited here. I feel like everyone's dead on this conference call. I need some excitement here, some fake motivation, Joseph. All right, we're gonna start off with we got Bill Sweeten on the call too. Good. We got Kendall, Anthony's daughter, Chelsea Smith, Miss Falana. All right, Joe, tell us what's going on with the interest rates.
So they've been holding relatively stable. We're kind of floating in that window where we talked about last week. VA loans, right around that 2.875. FHA, you're looking at, about 3.8 to 3.25, depending on credit profile. And then conventional loans, 3.375 to 3.5, depending on down payment credit profile. So, obviously risk-based pricing goes into play, but still historically good rates, slowly on the rise. They continue to creep, but they've been holding in this little window here for quite a few days, but I'm definitely on a lock bias right now. Some of the things that I'm watching is, if you guys watched this morning, ADP employment income numbers came in very strong, and they're anticipating the ADP unemployment reports. First one comes out tomorrow morning, and then Friday morning is the jobless claims report. They're expected to be strong, probably the strongest we've seen in a long time. What's good for the economy is bad for rates. Yeah. So, just keep an eye on it. Keep watching that 10-year. We saw a little spike yesterday morning. The 10-year ticked up to, it touched 1.8 for a brief second. And that's kind of scary, so just keep an eye on that. Analysts are, they know rates are going to rise. Where that ceiling is, I think there's a lot of guesses out there. I'm anticipating we're going to be, ending the year out somewhere in that mid to high threes on conventional loans. So we'll continue to see that steady creep upward with some little pockets here and there where we'll bounce up real high and come back down.
Hey, Joe,
an eye on that.
Let me, I want to ask a question, and I want you guys, throughout this little sales meeting today, I'm going to be giving away the copy of one of the most influential books there is, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. But I want to ask someone in here, because I like teaching the Socratic method. First person that gets this gets a copy of this book. So my question is why is a hot economy bad for rates? What's the relationship? Why is it like that? Anyone take a guess at it? This is for a book, guys. A book and maybe popping a balloon. Okay. And Carrie Glenn says good economy means lower rates. It's actually the other way around, Carrie. And the well, stocks and bonds. Carrie wrote stocks and bonds, kind of. All right, one more. But I appreciate Carrie. Carrie, I'm gonna give you a book just for that like effort. The reason is, guys, how does the government utilize what does the government do to, government actually plays a huge role in our lives. But what do they do when we're in a recession? They really lower the rates. They lower the rates because they want to stimulate the economy. Now, when the economy is doing like too well, it's like a party. Actually, the Fed Reserve uses example. When you're partying, there's too much alcohol out there and people are having too much of a good time. The Fed goes in there and like takes the punch bowl away a little bit because when the economy gets too hot, what do you guys have to worry about? There's one word.
Inflation.
Very good, Kendall Iverson. Dude, Kendall, you're getting a copy of this. Inflation. Describe to what inflation means. That's actually a really hard concept, but inflation means that there's too much demand and not enough supply. So the prices of things just go out the roof. And whenever that happens, it creates like a disaster. So what the relationship you have to understand is that when you have a really good economy, what the Fed is going to try to do is put the brakes on it because they're trying to keep what? Inflation from happening. That's the correlation. And what's a little bit scary is I'm gonna actually need to talk to you about like a home in Auburn, Joe. But the big issue is the Fed is predicting next quarter. Which quarter is that? They're predicting like a 8 or 9% GDP growth, something ridiculous.
I mean, right now we're looking. Original expectation was fourth quarter, then it wound back to third quarter. Now they're starting to think we might see this at the end of the second quarter, which we just started the second quarter today.
I mean, we're talking about, guys, we're talking about the Roaring 20s. Did anyone ever watch like any of that stuff about the Roaring 20s and people like tap dancing and buying all this stuff and being super happy? I mean, they're talking about that. So what I'm trying to say is I've lived in a country, you guys never lived in a country, but I lived in a country that had like 4,000% inflation before. And what happens is, Anthony, you're actually in the supermarket and the lady's changing the prices in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're there and like you can't wait too long because that price of milk is going to go up by like 20 cents just while you're visiting.
So what happens if you already grab it and they change the price by the time you get to the
I don't think they care at that point.
You didn't check out. Just like a house, Anthony, you know that.
Oh, dude, I'm talking about if this thing gets out of control, I could see rates going to like 6% overnight. I don't know.
There's some analysts out there. We're not looking in this year, but there are analysts out there that are talking about the potential of an 8% coupon in the very near future.
So remember, you got to tell your clients if you got anyone on edge, because right now the difference between like 1%, like let's say your clients get in like at 3.2 and a month from now it's 4.2 on the average house, that's about $150 worth of like buying power. So you got to make sure that's the correlation. All right, Joe, tell me something else that's interesting.
So another thing, true fact, I don't know if you know it yet or not, but right now there's more licensed agents than there are properties for sale in the United States.
Yeah.
That should give you an indicator what's going on in the real estate market. Let your clients that are out there shopping know. I mean, there's more licensed agents than there are properties available because I know they're getting frustrated. I'm right here with them. And the last thing I want to bring up is more of a public service announcement, because I've seen a rash of it lately. And it's not with your office in particular, but a lot of agents are writing amendments, getting amendments signed, and then not getting them to the lender. I think we had like 3 closings in the last week delayed because we didn't get an amendment until the day before closing, when they're looking at the numbers on the CD and it don't match, and they're wanting to know where the seller credit. I caution you with doing that, waiting to the end, because if that APR threshold changes by more than an 1/8, we have to send a new CD, and then you have to wait a new 3-day timing rule. So as soon as you get an amendment signed, get it to the lender, because there's a lot of things that have to change. It's not just as easy as changing some numbers on our end. Title's got to get reworked, insurance has got to get reworked, loans got to get re-underwritten, CD's got to get rebalanced. It's quite a bit of work for an easy amendment. You just created, 8 to 12 hours of, man hours of work.
Yeah.
Get
Hey.
the broker's team,
Uh,
get all of the documents to the broker. They have to review all of the documents, Susie and the team. In that way, we can close it here at the office.
yeah, exactly. The other thing too, guys, before we get on, talk about our amazing book. The other thing too is I would add something on the praising, because it's all about, like, everyone's in these multiple offer situations, and I'd actually add something on your appraisal contingency that as long as your buyers are happy with it. But I would add something like, if the house isn't appraised, we'll pay the difference.
I have a lot of clients that are doing that, or I have a lot of them in the special steps that they write in there in the event that the property does not appraise, that the buyer and seller agree to split the difference. A lot of them are coming in with, that the buyer is willing to pay up to $20,000 over appraised value. So I've seen it all, but yeah, it is not uncommon right now to pay above appraised value. That's probably about 20% of our transactions. People are paying above the appraised value.
So remember, 20%. So if you have a deal, you got to make it happen. So just, talk to Shep, Anthony, or me after, but we'll explain to you guys how to put that in the appraisal contingency. Okay. All right, guys, I want everybody to open up like an email, because Katie sent you the notes for the email. Katie sent an email with the notes for this amazing book. So go ahead, open up your emails. Tell me when you guys are ready. Shep, you got the notes open for the thing? As you can tell, I like putting people on the spot. But anyways, I'm going to give you the background of this book, and it talks about it in the notes. So this book was literally, and I feel like everyone takes like a little bit of this book and, rips it off a little bit, but it was written 80 years ago. Did you know that, Sam Stapleman? Think and Grow Rich was written like 80 years ago. And what happened was, you had this author, Napoleon Hill, and there was like a big billionaire called at that time Andrew Carnegie, and he was a big steel maker. And hold up, let me put up. Does everyone have their notes pulled up?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, hold on. Let me. So basically, what happened was, and
He wanted to be rich.
Yeah. Well, not just that, but what happened was Andrew Carnegie, I think he started feeling guilty because he was like a robber baron. But he goes, listen, Napoleon Hill, I'm going to ask you to go and talk to the most important people in the whole world. I'm going to pay you for you to do it. But just go and talk to them and tell me about like their secret sauce. What makes them special, and find the consistencies. Okay. So so what happened? So Andrew Carnegie paid Napoleon Hill to go out and do like this awesome case study where he just talked to the most important, influential people in the whole country. And so that's what these notes are about. But the first thing he talks about in this is who's got the notes in front of them. What's the first item on the notes, guys? I'm gonna make this interactive here.
Thoughts become things.
Well, yeah, exactly. And the idea behind that is every big idea, everything becomes a positive idea that you have to believe. Like your iPhone, what was that? That's an idea that Steve Jobs created and he was passionate about. Someone give me something else they're passionate about. I don't know, like cars, airplanes. When airplanes came out, there were people like, dude, are you crazy? Only birds can fly. And someone thought, hey, you were passionate about an idea, and you know, they didn't let the idea die. So the first point of this whole thing is that you have to control your thoughts, because you are what your thoughts, you are what you think. Okay, so if you think, what's a big accomplishment? Let me see. Joe, when you were in the Army, I mean, when you did something great. Hey, yeah, Megan. Joe, when you were in the Army and you had, you did something big, if you thought about it negative, like you get power, whatever is in your mind is going to happen. So if you're thinking like you're scared about something, you're going to be scared to do something. But if you're thinking like Bill Gates, Steve Jobs about an idea, you know, a positive idea, it's going to happen. Everything, it's whatever your state of mind is, it's going to really dictate a lot of your success. Sam, state limit, what's something that you're passionate about? Besides the maple, that bar. Give me like
Making
something.
Alex feel great.
No,
I mean, I'm passionate about, I mean, to some degree about kayaking and just getting out in nature.
okay, that's good. But you see, like the person that involved, like the kayaks weren't around. Someone had that idea. Hey, let me make a little plastic boat that has a weird shape to it that we can like. So everything starts off with an idea, and it's all about what's in your head and your state of mind. So that's the first point in his book. Okay, Shep, Antoine, what's the second point? It's in the notes. Okay. A burning
desire.
Yeah, perfect. A burning desire. The idea behind that one is like this. If you ask most people what they want to do in life, they won't know for about like 2 or 3 minutes. They'll kind of like lollygag around, and then finally they'll give you a couple like wish lists, and that's it. Well, the people that really make it are the people that have like a burning desire. You know, you got to have a burning desire in your heart to. So let's go back to the iPhone. Steve Jobs had a great idea, but then he had a burning desire to make it happen. Okay, if you don't have a burning desire, it's going to be very hard to kind of make something happen. Why? It's like going to the gym. Anthony, can I go to the gym and bench press like 400 pounds without working out?
Won't happen, buddy.
No, you get in life what you put in, and you need that time to that burning desire to have lots of mistakes too, so that you can learn from it. Like an example that Napoleon Hill gives is when Ford, Henry Ford, the founder of Ford, he said, I want an 8-cylinder engine. This was like 80 years ago, Anthony. And all his engineers are like, we can't do it. It's impossible. And Napoleon Hill's like, I don't care if you think it's impossible. I want you to go ahead and do it. It's like, so you're going to waste money on something that you think is like, we can't do it. And he goes, yes. And so they tried doing it for like 3-4 years. And finally they got it. But it's because he had like that burning desire. And a funny story, a funny example of this, Anthony and guys, is there's like this military strategist, okay? And he's attacking a much bigger army. So he goes and lands on the beach, and he's got like 100 soldiers, and he's attacking an army of like 1,000 people. So you know what he does, Anthony?
What's that?
He burns the ships that they came in. So like, if the guys don't win this battle, they're gonna die. So the idea is now you have a burning desire. You see, you're like, damn, I can't run away. I gotta make this thing happen.
You don't give. There's no other choice. But in short, if you believe it, you can achieve it.
Yeah. So the example for the burning desire, and this is we're just talking about money right now, but it doesn't have to be like this. This is just an example of a burning desire. But for you to kind of get it going, what you have to do is, let's say we had like money, you had like a goal where you want it to be independently very wealthy. The first thing you want to do is like specify the amount of money you want to have. The second thing you want to do is you're going to write down, what are you willing to do to get to there? Like, are you really serious about this? What are you willing to do? The third thing you're going to do is like specify the date. The fourth is you're going to create like a plan and a strategy right away. And then you're going to write that in the statement and look at it daily. So to get that burning desire, we're just using money as an example, but specify the amount you want is one. What are you willing to do to, attain it? You got to have a date by which you want to do it. Create a strategy and a plan right away to do it. Write a statement, like a mission statement about it, and then look at it twice. Okay? That's good. So burning desire. What's item number 3, guys?
A definite goal, essential for any success.
That has to do, like in that one, it kind of talks about what I just covered with but yeah, if you don't have a goal, it's like if I was going to, in the old days, some of these people on this call are young, but you have to map stuff out. If I didn't have a map to how to get to San Francisco, I wouldn't be able to get there. So that talks about that one. The next one is persistence. That's one of the things that's really important about life is persistency and consistency. So in this book, it gives an example of this Darby. Darby? Who was like the best insurance salesman in the whole country. And basically, what happened was Darby's cousin or uncle went to the California gold rush, okay? And he started doing kind of well. And so he bought equipment. But then after like a couple of months, he just gave up. He was like, man, this is not panning out. I'm just going to sell my equipment and move back and become a blacksmith again. Well, anyways, the guy he bought that equipment from, like 2 weeks later, struck like a big vein of gold that was only 3 feet away from where Darby's uncle was. And that guy became an instant millionaire. So the idea with that is Darby, when he would go and talk to people about insurance, he'd always think like, man, I'm just 3 feet away from becoming like a millionaire. Does that make sense, Anthony? So it's a persistence thing. You never know like when it's going to come, but it's like, if you're not at the table, you can't play. So that's where the persistence part comes up with. Now I want you guys, it's supposed to be interactive. So I want you guys to, if you have a good story, I want you guys to come in and talk about something in your life or, something that plays a role with one of these points. So how much one you want? You take away. The point number 7, I think, is like really important. It talks about auto suggestion. This point is really important. And basically what it talks about, let me see, who can I talk to? Antoine, why is it so important to kind of like have your mind focused on your goals and look at them a couple of times a day? I don't expect you to get this right, but scientifically, medically, what's kind of going on? Anyone want to take a shot at it?
It allows it to go into your subconscious mind.
Yeah, man, Kendall's on a machine. Exactly. So what naturally happens if we don't have our mind disciplined is that we start thinking about negative things. Like, am I going to die? How am I going to make money? Like your mind just wanders into like negative realms. If you're not like have it disciplined, and it just wanders into negative realms. So you always have to kind of like remind it what to do and tap into your unconscious. So a good example of that is like, I'm a terrible multitasker, for example. Okay. I'm going to show you the power of the subconscious. Okay. Katie will tell you, am I a good multitasker? No, I can't. I really can't do more than one thing at a time. Okay. But let's think about it. I can't do one thing, more than one thing at one time. But look at my subconscious right now. My subconscious is like regulating 10,000 different things. It's regulating my heart rate, my nerves, my posture, my skin, my eyes. I mean, it's doing probably 12,000 different tasks right now without me telling it what to do. I mean, just think about that, Anthony. I can't do one thing consciously. I can only do one thing consciously, but my subconscious right now is regulating like 12,000 things behind the scenes. So what the point of that is you got to have those goals in front of you, because you always got to remind your subconscious, hey, this is the direction I'm going for. And this is, and then your subconscious, because it does so much stuff, it will figure out how to get you closer to your goals.
Another thing, Alex, is sometimes we subconsciously have negative thoughts, and then we wonder why negative things happen is because we think negatively. And I remember reading somewhere where it says like 65 to 70% of a person's first thought is negative. Yeah. But if we consciously think positive thoughts, then positive things will happen. Mike Ferry talks about this all the time in his retreats, where he talks about, now Mike Ferry is the greatest motivational speaker for real estate, but every time before he gets on the stage, he always says that this is going to be a great retreat.
Yeah.
They're going to get it. They're going to understand. So if he does it and he's like one of the greatest of all times, that ought to tell you something. So he preaches and teaches that as well.
Yeah. No, exactly. Shep, do you have any feedback on this? Does anyone have any?
Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think you've got to keep your goals in front of you for your subconscious mind, because you automatically start moving toward those goals if you look at them enough without even thinking about it.
Exactly, Shep. So, like, guys, and then how do we keep the positive goals? How do we keep those positive ideas a good state of mind? By creating like that burning desire. If you create that burning desire, which is just like light it, that fire without you, fire, like start the fire within you, your mind, you automatically think the positive thoughts towards the burning desire. I think a good example, Shep, Anthony, I just realized this. Have you ever realized like if you've been thinking about a problem for a month and all of a sudden you're taking a shower, you're not thinking about it, and then you snap your fingers and you're like, I got the answer to this. It's because your subconscious mind has been working the whole time on it in the background.
I agree.
Having positive people around you too, it helps a lot.
Yeah.
When you have a person telling you are not worth it, it's a lot.
That's right.
Hey, Alex.
Look at Angelica in that background.
Yeah. Dude, you look like a professional. Like, that's the nicest background. Good job, Angelica, on the background. That looks good. So that's, but then let's talk about what are some of the fears that keep us from having that burning desire and being great? What are some of the fears? I mean, think about it. Looking at this book again, I understand why Mike Ferry reads this book at least once a year. I mean, if you have fears, it can really just, not only does it mess, your mind only, let's say, can hold a gallon of water or something. If you're thinking, if all the water in there is negative, you're not going to accomplish anything. But if you have lots of fears in your mind, it takes away from that burning desire and it takes away from doing great things. So what's one fear? I think this is like the biggest one. I think it's the biggest one for me, Anthony, is the fear of criticism. We're so worried about our ego that, and what people are going to think, that we're not willing to take big risks. In this book,
that's the big one. Also the fear of failure. And I think that, most successful people take the failure and succeed from it. Anybody that's successful that says that they've never failed is actually not being truthful, because it's all about how you take that failure and learn from it. And most successful people do that. They learn from their failures and they don't fear failing. It's not something that they have a fear of, because failure, like Mike says, it happens on a daily basis. So just stop worrying about it. I mean, we all fail, but it's what you do with that failure. Are you going to let it overtake you, or are you going to learn from it? And I saw something that says, either I win or I learn from my failure.
Yeah. No, that's a great point, Anthony. And in the book, it talks about, this is actually a really interesting one, but Marconi he was an Italian guy. He was actually the inventor of the radio. But his friends actually kind of did like an intervention with him, and they took him to go see a psychiatrist. You know why, Anthony?
Why is that?
Because he said, hey guys, I discovered a way to send messages through the air without wires. And this friend said, Marconi, you're really crazy. We need to take you to a psychiatrist now. But what was he talking about? The radio. This is the inventor of the radio.
Right.
So that's a powerful thing. Fear of criticism, the fear of ill health. You know, I'm so sick. What's going to happen tomorrow? Fear of death, fear of old age. These are all things that we just have to kind of learn to box out of our minds because they really don't do any good for us. And then basically, once you have your dream, Anthony, he talks about auto suggestion in here too. Once you have, there's different parts to kind of like internalizing your dream. But what you have to do is have that burning desire. And then that burning desire will turn into like faith. Because what's the number one thing of like people when they do incredible goals is they have faith in it. They start to believe it. And why do they start believing it? Because they have a burning desire. And the way they got the burning desire is by doing affirmations and, you know, just cultivating that idea in their head. Let me see what else we got here. The other one too, I thought this one's a really good one, is you got to surround yourself like a masterminds group. This is what Angelica was talking about, but if I want to create something, you know, an amazing idea, do I surround myself with positive people, Anthony, or negative people?
Definitely positive.
Yeah, but it's very easy to surround yourself with negative people, but negative people, you almost got to avoid like the plague. Like they're not going to help you with your burning desire. They're not going to help you develop your faith. They're not going to help you. I mean, they might be nice people and there's nothing wrong. You know, they're just some people that have let fear take over their lives. And, you know, it's not your job to, you're working in your own burning desire. You can try to help them, but, you know, you're trying to do your own big things. So masterminds, always surround yourself with positive people. And then people, the other thing is like, you can't be an expert on everything. So you want to surround yourself with positive people, but that people that are expert on something that you're not an expert on. That way you can, you know, get some good ideas from them. You guys can exchange ideas and there can be like a synergy together. Take away. And then the last thing we're going to talk about is alibis for failure. And the alibi for failure is always, it's kind of like an excuse. It's like kind of like a fear, but it's an excuse. So one of them is like,
if I was younger.
Yeah, if I was younger. Yeah, look at Big Kendall. Like that's what, well,
If only I wasn't married.
Yeah, if I only wasn't married, if I only had money, if I only had a degree,
Right.
if I only had connections, if only it's very easy to make yourself a victim in these things because, you know, everybody's got more people. Some people have been dealt much tougher cards, but everyone can say that, you know, they have some excuse. But what's important to know is like every important person has had to overcome like horrible odds. Like when we finish this, guys, read a story about Oprah Winfrey. Like she grew up in Mississippi, like in a terrible family, or just like if you want to be great, you're going to have to overcome big odds. I mean, that's just the way life is. So don't get yourself emotionally connected to any of these excuses. So I'm just going to like re-emphasize some points, and then I want to make it open for discussion here. Feedback, but the first one is, remember, everything starts with a dream, like the iPhone with Steve Jobs, or Martin Luther King said. Dr. Martin Luther King said, "I have a dream." You know, he had this dream where, actually, we're still working on the dream, but you know, there's everything starts with a dream. Then, which is that burning desire. Then it becomes, you know, how are we going to implement the burning desire? That's where the goals and those 6 steps I gave you. I think the other really important point, Anthony, Kendall, is that the subconscious one, think about it. I'm not using some crazy psychological term. Right now, my subconscious is controlling 12,000 different things in my body.
Yep. Yeah, the subconscious mind controls 95% of your life.
Yeah. So I mean,
The conscious mind only controls 5%.
And your subconscious mind gets guidance from your conscious mind. So if you're not training yourself to have those positive thoughts, your mind automatically wanders in the wrong directions. That's a very important point. And you know, the goals about the burning desire. If you use the money example, specify the amount. What are you going to give in return? Specify the date, create a strategy and plan right away, and how you're going to do it, and write it in the statement and look at it every day. And then the last point is the fears. Don't let fears get in the way of your dreams. We're going to play a little game, Anthony. Like, because I'm a big biography person, so I know the story. Every famous person has had like a horrible task that they had to overcome. Give me a name of someone, I'll tell you what they had to overcome. Any person.
Michael Jordan.
Oh, that's a good one. Well, he had to do it a couple different ones. First time when he came back, remember when he retired, they're like, "You're too old to play the game. You can't play the game." Then actually the biggest thing he had to overcome was that he actually, guys, this is very important, but it's not because the reasons you think of, but Michael Jordan is what? The greatest basketball player to ever live. Sorry, Antoine. Antoine's a big LeBron James guy, but you know, LeBron James to me is like very what do you call that person that's not vocal and backstabs you in the back, Anthony? What do you call that? Anyways, but Michael Jordan, Miss Katie, got cut from his middle school basketball team. Did you know that, Anthony?
Yes, I did.
So
And don't forget about his dad dying and his gambling problems. That man.
Yeah, that's true. But let's think about it. But if he had just quit, like the greatest basketball player ever got cut from his middle team, what about if he had said, "Man," like use one of those excuses, it wasn't meant to be, or that kind of thing. What about if he had done that? He would have been maybe, you know, not had such a glorious life. So that's another one. That's a good one. All right, Anthony, give me another one. I'm really good at this. Give me like any person, any realm.
Tyler Perry.
Well, I think I think with that one, that's kind of like I think it's harder. I don't want to get too political here, but I think it's harder when you don't have certain economic opportunities and breaks to make it. You know, there's like, you know, you have an extra strike against you on that.
He overcame homelessness, I know. Tyler Perry did.
Right.
Yeah,
I think he was raised by a single parent as well in a poor household.
Yeah, look at Big Kendall, man. I like Kendall, dude. Okay, Kendall, we're gonna make it like a requirement for you to be like in these meetings every week, man. You bring good juice. All right,
That's
one more.
awesome.
Give me another one. Shep, give me one.
Oh, let me think. What about,
Alex Roswadowski. Ooh.
Ooh. Look
okay.
at that, Cherry. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think like I'm any. Well, I don't want to compare myself to someone like super great, but I had to like. Well, I mean, I didn't have to do it. Well, I came from Brazil, and so when I was, and I had like a strong accent, and I had my height when I was like 12 years old, so I had a strong accent in my height, so I got picked on a lot. Next to John Mayer, that singer. Yeah, he was like 2 classes behind me. He's a very famous singer, but he got picked on a lot too because he walks with like, he used to walk on his tiptoes. And I came from kind of like an alcoholic family. And what else? Nothing, I mean, so, when Shep and me, we started the business, it was like me and Shep in a little office, and I didn't even have a desk, Anthony. The desk I had didn't have any legs on it. I was going through a breakup, so like, I'm kind of tall, so I'm sitting in this desk that doesn't have any legs on it. Just like sobbing to myself with Shep, having to look at Shep every day.
Well,
It was
also
terrible.
the part where you when you went to school and you finished at the lower half of your high school, but then when you went on to Georgia State, you actually ended up being at the top of the class.
Yeah, that's a good point. In my high school, I was the second to last worst student in it. And then I got into Ranger Regiment. And I think out of 160 people, only like 25 made it in. And then after that gave me like the confidence. I did go to Georgia State, which is like the biggest school now in Georgia. It's got 50,000 students, and I finished, I think, number 1 or number 2 in my class. But it's because, but that's an over coming part. So I'm saying like anything in life you have to do, you have to overcome. I know like Anthony's story. Anthony had a lot of bad cards too. He had some bad business partners in the past. We don't have to go into that, but a lot of people would have just given up on that. But you can't give up. Another great story about that is Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln has had the most horrible story. If you look at it, he went bankrupt like 3 times. He went bankrupt 3 times. 7 of his kids died. He lost every election except the one for senator and becoming president. Like right at that, he had lost everything, and then he won one to become senator, and then from senator he won the one to become president. And the day he became president, the South succeeded from the North. So, anyways, I cut you off, Angelica.
It's like Mark John. We met with your friend last week. He's in the army, and he always say like all of these people in the army, they have a lot of help with psychologists or psychotherapy too, because you have like everybody has childhood traumas, but you are like you keep moving yourself. If you don't work in your problems, the problems are gonna stay with you. Then you always have to work in yourself, either with good people around you, help professionally, meditation classes, other things that will make you be better. In that way, you can achieve all of your goals and all of your objectives in life.
Exactly. So what I'm going to do is we already went 5 minutes past how long I wanted to keep up with this, but ask how much, Katie, throw me a softball question here. Ask Shep, Anthony, and me how much we love this company. And how much we love our agents. How much we love our agents.
All right, guys, how much do you all love the company and the agents?
Well, we love them so much that anyone who wants a free copy of this book, which you should really have on your desk, we're going to buy you a copy and give it to you.
Yep, see me and I can coordinate.
So
that for you.
yeah. So go to see Katie. If you want a copy of this book, just send, I'll look at Marina. I like she does a little yellow hand. Yes, I'm here. I want a copy of the book.
Yes, it's an excellent book. I've read it twice, but I'd like to have a new copy.
Okay. Oh, look at Miss Lily. Getting a little bit like sassy.
Someone told me years ago to read that book when I started real estate.
Yeah. So that's a good one. Anyone wants a copy, just email Katie and we'll get you a copy of it, okay?
Okay.
But remember, think about, you gotta tap into your burning desire. You gotta have your dream, which leads to your burning desire, which leads to implementing it, which leads to keeping like your good thoughts in your head, which leads to telling the subconscious now what it wants, what you want. So that's kind of the formula, guys. So anyways, I hope you guys had a good, this whole series this month is going to be wellness. Anthony kind of came up with the idea, but we want to change it up. So the next sales meeting, we're going to talk about, we have lots of fun topics, but you know, we're going to try to talk about like self-improvement and health and, you know, state of mind and that kind of thing. So anyways, I hope you guys have a great day. Let's work on our burning desires, and thank you for coming to this meeting.
Yeah, Alex, this is Larry.
Yo, what's up, big Larry?
Just want to offer a word of wisdom today that I heard from Les Brown.
Yes, sir.
He said, if you're the smartest person in your group, you need to expand your group.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's true.
Well, that's a good one. I was gonna say that a smart ass comment to someone, but like I'm not going to, because we're gonna have like a good, but thank you. That was awesome, Larry. He's right, which means you're a product of your environment.
Amen.
Like your 5 closest people, you're a product of them. Just think about who are your 5 closest people right now. You're a direct positive product of them. So what I'm trying to say is, like, if you don't have someone that's positive or is helping you improve, or you know, someone that wants to improve, maybe you should rethink about having them that close to you.
Right.
So all right, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you for this meeting. You guys have a great day.
You too.